if you even look at, you've got Bulletproof Mindset, Bulletproof Studio, you've got your coaching business, you're obviously dealing with clients all the time.
Yeah, so figuring out my path, even since then as well, it's sort of spawned back and forth, but it's good. I think it's forever evolving. I think that's we've talked a lot about the entrepreneurial trap and all this sort of stuff, but I don't think you ever complete it. I think the goals just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's like it's like an artist that draws the pictures or paints the pictures. They do a masterpiece, but they never go, that's me done, put down the brush and pack it away. They're like, where's the next one? And they're constantly looking at this shifting world about how they can capture that, how they can capture the essence of what they're doing. And an entrepreneur is the same, where how many people have you seen that have had a hugely successful business, sold it for millions and millions of pounds, and then they go and have a good time for a wee while. They go and spend the money, they party, and then they're like, oh, what do I do now? And they go and find purpose by setting up another business, because they seek that thrill, which is they see an opportunity, they see something, and then they go, I could make that work. Or they see somebody doing it, somebody doing a business that they think they can do better, they can add some quality, they can add some value, and people would be attracted to use this business that they're setting up versus the existing one that's there. So you can see how that morphs and that develops. And it's one of these things that I'm fascinated. I mean, I don't know if you see it in your coaching business, but I'm seeing it a lot by the amount Mindset calls is that it's the template's almost identical. With a few nuances. The framework of Mindset is identical across the board.
For everything, yeah. No, it's exactly. And I only came to that conclusion maybe. I thought fitness was fitness, and fitness was one of the single-handedly the best way to create resistance in your life to then help your mindset. Still a big believer of that, but hearing you do your mindset talks and all the topics that you've covered and all that sort of stuff, there's like realizations like when you're talking about certain things, or I'm listening to an audiobook or another podcast, and I'm like, it's exactly the same to this fitness client I've got that I've never worked out in her life, or such and such who's a mum of 2 kids, and all this. It's crazy how no matter the situation, you're right, the template is more or less the same. And it's almost like that with resistance training in a way. But the just what you said on there with the whole, I had a great conversation with Scott, because he just retired for professional boxing. He's always been competing in something for his whole life. And 11 years as a professional boxer, he was talking about how a lot of people gave him advice, like, make sure that goal set when you lose that part, because he's got his business goals, his family goals, but his own self, I don't know what category you'd have this in, like maybe the part that fills you. I'm not saying that these other aspects don't fill him with joy, but the part that you do for you was always boxing. And he says, the first time in my whole life, I felt a wee bit lost. And I think I asked him if he was doing all right. He was like, I'm fine. I was like, no, are you really doing all right? And like that whole second question, the third question. And he's like, fuck man, I'm a wee bit lost. Now you have this front on, this mask on. But he was telling stories of all people that he's known in the past that stepped away from professional boxing and turned to drugs, alcohol, and try and fill that hole in other areas of life. So super important. I
mean, they look for that. They look for something to fill the void, there's something missing. Their part of their identity is missing, and when you don't have the answer, you tend to look for something that will give you a thrill or a buzz, or sometimes escapism. So you want to escape the feeling that you feel lost. So that's why you turn to, these sort of ways to escape sex, drugs, alcohol, gambling. They're all classic tales. But the thing that they look for is they look for to either get away from the feeling that they feel lost, because a part of their life, the part of their identity is actually gone, and they've not reconfigured who they are yet. So they've not sort of reformatted their who they see themselves as. So it's almost like they feel like they're dying a slow death, because
it's like
part of them's died. That's the way that they feel, and that feel like they call it grief. It's just a bad feeling that they've got. So naturally, if you don't deal with it, you then look to escape it.
Have you ever experienced that? Because if you think of like that scenario, Scott's been known as Scott, the guy who owns Rivals Martial Arts Studio, and Scott, the professional boxer, and it's like that's the title that is taken away. Have you ever experienced that when you're kind of changing? Have you ever been like had your identity in a certain role or as known as a certain person?
Nothing comes to mind. I don't think so.
So for me, I think that's really where I felt a wee bit lost when I was only before, and it makes more sense now because I chose this path to help people with their fitness goals, and big believer that every single person should lift weights one form or another. Built the studio, started doing more studio stuff, and it was taking me away from that. And I'm like, am I Dale the studio owner? Am I Dale the business owner? Am I Dale the entrepreneur? Or am I Dale the coach? And I think that was really questioning me a lot. And
why did you feel that you needed to attach something to yourself?
I don't know if I was, but I think upon like reflection, I was maybe confusing myself. Like when you go at your goal set, and it's like, what is it you want to push? And it's like, why push them all? Can I push them all? It's like, yeah, but you're better to like focus on one thing, drive that to a certain extent, and then it was just trial and error through kind of bringing me full circle, because it then allowed obviously Jill to come in full time and for her to find her vision and goal with that sort of thing.